Donald Trump is now warning the American people that the United States is headed towards a depression. This is going to be far worse than a recession, but this is going to cause the U.S. economy to struggle. Millions of people will be struggling. Many will go homeless. Many will go without food. Right now, we're seeing the warnings on the wall, and I want to brace you for what is to come. Because right now, many experts believe it's a higher likelihood that we're headed towards a depression than we see the economy start booming. So I want to break all this down, explain what is going on, show you all the different reports, and again, brace you for what is to come. But again, all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. For far too long, we have been told that everything is just fine, that jobs are plentiful. There's so many out there, that the minimum wage is going up. Everything is just fine. But we are now being told, and have been for the past couple months, that the data that we've been receiving has been false. This is one of the reasons why Donald Trump is issuing this Great Depression warning. I want to read a little bit of this to you, but I also want to show you what is coming. What experts believe is going to take down the United States and cripple the American people. Look at this. It says, the president-elect who failed to get a provision raising the debt ceiling included in a stopgap spending bill passed by lawmakers earlier this month claimed on social media on Sunday that Democrats would prefer depression as long as it hurt the Republican Party. Now, I don't know if that is 100% true, but again, there's a lot of information, a lot of stuff that Democrats have done that does look like they would rather hurt the Republican Party than to see the economy just take off. But I want to read you what Donald Trump wrote. Look at this. He wrote, the extension of the debt ceiling by a previous Speaker of the House, a good man and a friend of mine, from this past September of the Biden administration to June of the Trump administration will go down as one of the dumbest political decisions made in years. He is referring to Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who was then ousted as the Speaker, the first Speaker of the House ever ousted in the history of the United States. So again, it must have been bad. Says there was no reason to do it. Nothing was gained, and we got nothing for it. A major reason why that speakership was lost. It was Biden's problem, not ours. Now it becomes ours. I call it 1929 because the Democrats don't care where our country may be forced into. In fact, they would prefer depression as long as it hurt the Republican Party. The Democrats must be forced to take a vote on this treacherous issue now during the Biden administration and not in June. They should be blamed for this potential disaster, not the Republicans. That is what he wrote just the other day. Now, this is where things are really starting to take off, and things could get far worse before they ever get better. Right now, lawmakers, and this is the fight Donald Trump is going to have. He is going to be on this collision course with conservative lawmakers over the debt ceiling. Right now, many of them say that unless there are tremendous cuts to our spending, they will not raise the debt ceiling. That means we can't continue to borrow. That would be a disaster. Now, I want to show you some other things. Look at this right here. A lot of people say this is great news. Millions of workers in 21 states are about to get a raise starting in 2025. Simply because the minimum wage is increasing. Look at this map right here. These are all the states that are going to be increasing their minimum wage in 2025. So as of tomorrow. That's great news, right? Well, here's the problem. The minimum wage, okay, is just the minimum. Right now, the cost of living in every single state is through the roof. There's a cost of living crisis. This cost of living crisis is one of the reasons why many people have moved away from the big cities, went to small areas, very rural areas, so that they could afford to live. Well, because of all the people leaving the large cities like Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, right? The Houston, Dallas, Miami. Actually, Miami's doing pretty well. Okay, but people have been leaving because they can't afford it. Well, look at this. Office commercial-backed mortgages, their delinquency rate spiked to a record 11%. It says blowing by the financial crisis. I want to show you this chart. Okay. First, I want to read this to you, and then I want to show you this chart. So, over the past 24 months, the delinquency rate for office CMBS has exploded by 9.4 percentage points, from 1.6% to 11%. Look at this. This is the financial crisis right here. Okay, it started right about here. Anyway, it went up. Okay, financial crisis. We are sitting at 10.6%. Okay, at the peak. Now we're at 11%. This is for offices. This is why this is a big issue. So many offices are falling into delinquency. This is going to cause millions of dollars in losses, billions of dollars in losses. And in the first quarter of 2025, we need to refinance about $1.5 trillion. Trillion dollars. That's not going to be easy, especially when we're getting reports like this. It says the U.S. manufacturing sector is facing a harsh winter, with the Chicago PMI unexpectedly plummeting to near the lows seen during the COVID lockdown period. Now I'm going to read you something. Look at this right here. Okay? I want to read you why. It says, this is what is happening. Prices paid rose at a slower pace. People aren't paying. Means expansion. New orders fell at the fastest pace. Employment fell at a slower pace, signaling contraction. Inventories fell at a faster pace, again, signaling contraction. This is the issue, is all the contraction that we're seeing, not expansion. Supplier deliveries rose at a faster pace, great, it's expansion. Production fell at a faster pace, and order backlogs fell at a slower pace. Again, all considered, or pretty much signaling a contraction. I want to show you this, because again, it goes back to what we have seen over the lockdown period of COVID and the great financial crisis. Look at this. This is the chart. This is where we're at 36.9, okay? Do you see this drop? Here's the problem. The last time it dropped here, this is our production, okay? The reason why we had limited production here during the COVID lockdown period is because we were locked down. We were sitting in quarantine. We were in quarantine. That's why. Businesses weren't open. So when businesses weren't open, that was when we were the worst. Okay, like 31 or whatever it was. Now we're at 36.9. We are almost to what we were doing back during the great financial crisis. Yeah, that is why this is an issue. What is happening right now for production is going to be insane. Okay, everything is going to be tougher. Look at this though. Demand at food banks has soared to record levels all over the United States. One of the reasons why is because food is getting outright expensive. You can't buy healthy food. All you can buy is chips, soda, right? Those are the things that are actually coming down in price, but meat, vegetables, fruits, going through the roof. And people are struggling to pay it. And then when you factor that in, the rise of the cost of goods like food, and then you factor that in along with these layoffs, well, that's causing millions of people to struggle. Just in 2024, over 100,000 IT jobs, okay, were lost. Actually, that's just the second half of 2024. That's in 6 months, okay? Firms like IBM, Cisco, Microsoft, okay, Amazon, all laid off people. All laid off people. Okay? It was a bloodbath. I think Amazon or Microsoft laid off like 16,000 people. Okay, 16,000 alone from Microsoft. Again, I'm telling you this because this is what we're going to see. Homelessness is already rising to record levels here in the United States, and some believe that we haven't even touched the top. That homelessness is going to continue to rise, especially when we see the Trump administration is coming in, and they are going to crack down on illegal immigration. They're shut down the crossings at the border. Going to deport potentially over 1 million people, which could free up some housing. But at the same time, it's going to cause more people to run. Many people will become homeless in this next year. So here's the last thing I want to leave you with. 2025 is just around the corner. There are some places already that are in the year 2025. It's January 1st, so Happy New Year. Others, we're just about there. So, I just want to let you know, 2025 isn't going to be the best year ever. It's not going to be the best year. It's going to be a rebuilding year based off what analysts and experts are telling us. So, as we get more information on this and as we get more warnings, I promise I will bring you all the latest news and updates. But again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.